Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we are going to talk about Kenny Rogers, or, well, Lovisa Coldeyes. The dual decks is coming out, Mine versus Might, and it's got Jorah of the Gitu versus Lovisa Coldeyes in a matchup that Lovisa has no business ever winning. Anyway, I thought I would break down the Lovisa deck that I've had built, and what I kind of did here was I love me some warriors. I focused almost exclusively on the warrior part. Barbarians, warriors, and berserkers. She does give. There's so many ways to build her. Like, she's really good with goblins, because goblins are just about all those races. However, I wanted a little more of a beat stick, so I kind of went with giant warriors. Giant war. I've got a lot of non-giants in the deck as well. However, giant warriors does give you access to things like, where the hell is he at? Sunrise Sovereign. Oh, by the way, here, the Kenny Rogers quote, by the way, was, just in case some of y'all don't know, a long time ago there was a country western singer named Kenny Rogers. I think he still may be living, I'm not sure. He had the song Coward of the County. And if you will just stop a minute, or when this video's done, look at this picture of Boldware Intimidator. I swear to you that's Kenny Rogers. That looks, the white hair, the beard, everything, it looks just like him. And the fact that he says, cowards can't block warriors. And one of Kenny Rogers' most famous songs, as you know, or may not know, is Coward of the County. So, thought that was funny. Anyway, Sunrise Sovereign is a giant warrior, so he helps on both ends. He gives your other giants. Of course, the only giants we're going to be playing with are giant warriors, like, this guy, which obviously gets bigger for each other giant. That guy gets bigger for each other anythings. I like me some Myriad. I really, really like Myriad, especially with, like, Warstorm Surge, because that way all your Myriad copies come into play, and you're just, just the Myriad and Warstorm Surge can just shoot somebody dead. The Fury Stoke Giant, for when you absolutely got to get rid of all them little weenies, or you got to kill the flyer. Now, this guy, the Impelled Giant, I'll be honest with you, I think this is the only deck I play with this card. Because now, keep in mind, this is an instant speed ability. And you almost miss that colon because it's at the end of the line. You tap a red creature besides him to give him plus X, where X is the power. So we've got so much beefing going on here with the Sunrise Sovereign and Lovisa and the Hall of Triumph, the Warhammer. You've probably got Lovisa sitting on the throne because, let's face it, she's not as badass as her posse is. But, so, you've got all that, and then you can tap these guys to give that guy, it's just really good. Countryside Crusher, we got to have a low-end giant, right? Hammer Fist, 4 damage to each creature without flying and each player. So, I thought that was neat. Let's get into some non-giants. We got to have the Bloodmark Mentor, simply because I would love hasty giants, wouldn't you? A Vampire Warrior. Flying, haste, and gets bigger. I realize 5 mana for a 2/2 is a little much, but 2 counters on it, and it does fly and it does haste, so there's a good chance that you could find, when you smack this guy down, there's a good chance you can find somebody on the table that can't block a flying 2/2. And then it becomes a 4/4, and then it's a real problem. I like it. Of course, the Banneret to get your warriors cheaper. Also a warrior, by the way. The Paragon, he's a warrior, and he pumps other red dudes. And that guy just gets all the bonuses from all the things because he's Tarian Mauler, and that's what he does. And FYI, if your opponent's playing Slivers, he's kind of badass too. Anyway, Volshock Battlemaster comes into play. He gets all the equipment. All equipment. Yeah. There's a lot of swords and batter skulls and stuff like that floating around out there, but he just takes them all. Now, obviously, we're going to run the Bushwhacker and probably the Pyre Charger. I like the Pyre Charger. It is a 2-mana fire-breathing creature. I love the fire-breathing, especially in mono red. Now, Heartlash Cinder is another, you know, we're playing mono red here, which is kind of the reason why, and we're permanent heavy. That's kind of why I threw the Nykthos in there. Goblin Raise Runners. Gotta have the Zilla's conscripts here because, you know, stealing their one dude that could kill yours is pretty solid. And of course, you know, if there's anybody doing any shenanigans with the graveyard, the Ash Zilliot can put them in their place. Also a warrior. Cyclops Gladiator. Ignition Team. Now, I really like the Ignition Team. And here, I think this is one of the few cards that the casting cost is actually, the high casting cost is a benefit to it. Because you're forced to wait till late game. The thing about EDH is people love value. People are going to tap out all the time. This is why Mana Tithe is such a great card in this format. But anyway, by the time that you get your 7 mana to cast this guy, your opponents, of which there's going to be several, obviously, they're going to have their lands tapped as well. And this guy I have seen just get absolutely cray-cray. Ogre Warrior. Orcish Artillery. Markov Blade Master. Now, I love this guy. This is like awesome here. The double strike, and he gets a counter. So he's hitting for what, 3 the first time? Because he deals first strike damage, deals 1 to him, and gets a counter. And then he deals regular damage and deals 2 to him. And then he gets a counter. So he's going to end up being a 3/3, but he'll deal 3 damage that first time, 1 and then 2. And then it just progressively gets more ridiculous. Keldon Warlord, baby, that's right. The Minotaurs. Bloodthirst is probably not something that's going to be hard to get with this deck. We are pretty heavy on creatures. Even if not, we've got some other ways to deal it. Gathan Raiders, Mog Sentry. You really need a 1-drop of some sort. And Mog Sentry can actually, I have seen players, if he's swinging at somebody and they block it with something that another player wants killed, I've seen them then play their card draw, then play their search, play their whatever, just so this guy can kill whatever the blocker that they chose is. And I got just a plain old plain Jane Giant here. And the reason why he does not fit is because I wanted the Pyroclasm effect and I wanted it on a body. I've done a few of the artifacts already, so obviously we have to go with the Battle Axe. I mean, there's no way around playing with this card because it just auto-equips to all but 1 creature in the deck, and your general. Howling Mine has been Red's card draw for, like, I don't know, since the beginning of the game, so it is a little risky, but, you know, it's what we got. Fire Shrieker. Oh, and the Howling Mine, because I'm also out of Reforges. So, let's go with our instance here. Now, some of these are going to... Comet Storm will not surprise you. Comet Storm is a sick rip. The multi-kicker, it's amazing. However, it's just been printed into oblivion, so, you know, it's cheap enough. Got to boil, because this is mono red, and we're warriors. And this is a very warrior-like thing to do, is to, you know, hurt the blue player. Inferno. 6 damage to all players and all creatures. A lot of times this is tantamount to chain reaction, but it does hit players as well. False Orders. Now, False Orders, a lot of people don't know about this card because it was only printed in Alpha, Beta, and Unlimited. And it's kind of super faded there, so we'll see if it can... Pretty much what this says, this is a... you declare your attackers, and then they choose their blockers, and then you play False Orders. And then you say, no, you block like this. Or my personal favorite is, you don't block. And everybody just gets through. So, that's why I love False Orders. Go with the Fireball. Obviously, Fireball, Vandal Blast, Shatter Storm, Flash Fires, Relentless Assault. Those are pretty well, I mean, what you would expect from a red deck that's creature-based. But now, Cleaver Rot, just my dudes are going to get double strike. Which, I mean, we do have the Rage Reflection, don't get me wrong. But 2 copies never hurt. Now, Hammer of Bogarden. This looks like it is a very mana-intensive spell, and it is. However, have you ever wished you would pay any amount of mana to get that lightning bolt back out of your graveyard to use it again? You just keep swinging the hammer. Now, they actually tried a little bit different version. I kind of like it better in the Thunderblade Charge. Now, in a creature-based deck like this, Thunderblade Charge may actually be better because you charge them for 3, and then when one of your dudes deals combat damage to them, from then on, notice this does not exile it. It just says for the rest of the game, as long as this is in your yard, you can pay 5 mana to do it again. You're not putting it back in your hand, then you got to cast it. No. You're just paying the mana and getting the effect. Now, this next sorcery, a lot of people I have shown this to didn't even believe this card existed. That is right. That is a buyback spell with Storm. And I know this right here begs for all the mana doublers, but let's face it, this is Lovisa, okay? Maybe at some point in time, maybe she might merit all those cards. Not right now. Anyway, in keeping with the warrior theme, I don't think creatures block. I don't think warriors block because they're always attacking. So creatures don't block. Sulphurous Vortex. And then players shouldn't gain life. It's all about the art of war with warriors. Fervor, Mana Flare, obviously you see that coming, and we are playing mono red, so the Granite Grip. And yes, there is an intentional reason why I chose the white border one here. That creature in the art kind of looks like a giant. And, let's face it, is a white border. And, of course, the Goblin War Drums. That is Lovisa Coldeyes. Maybe this Mind versus Might deck will be something decent. They released the deck list, and from what I see, I just don't see it. Now, there's value in the decks, obviously. However, when you buy them, pick them apart. Pick through it like a buffet. Don't play them against each other because I just can't see Lovisa standing up to Jorah. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. And y'all let me know what you want to see. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.